The Dragon Age Veilguard writers called us incels. I'm here and I'm proud, baby. Let's go. At Nazi on top, and we are set for the races, my boy. Let's go, misogynists.
As all of you guys are aware, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a topic of conversation for a lot of people right now. And that's because, honestly, the characters and what the game has become compared to what it was before has shocked a lot of people, including major fans of.
It's an absolute joke and unmitigatable disaster at this point, okay? This game is gonna flop so hard. I'm not actually even sure what's gonna flop harder, Dragon Age Veilguard or Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's really hard to tell, but man, with the recent ultra flop of woke titles and DEI infested games, this could be massive, okay? This could be literally 300 million down the drain, hopefully.
Of the Dragon Age franchise. Now, myself personally, I have been a fan of Dragon Age for a very long time. I played Origins when it first came out. I remember when it first came out, and it was an awesome experience. Dragon Age 2 tried to be a little bit of everything, and it kind of lost its way when it was created. It also was a very linear experience, which was something that threw a lot of people off. And then Dragon Age Inquisition tried to combine the best of all worlds with a slightly open world experience and gave you a little bit of everything, but just a little bit better than Dragon Age 2 did. Now you have Dragon Age the Veilguard that completely and utterly changes the entire game, not only visually, but also
it completely shits the bed. Beautiful.
You're not even going to know the story of the first two games because they don't want you to actually remember the story at all.
And the funniest part about that, by the way, this is supposed to be the end of the story. This is supposed to be a conclusion, and it's marketed like that. Oh, this is the end of the story. You don't want to miss it. What's the story before this? Don't know. Don't ask. Don't care. But it's the end of the story, so bye, bye, bye.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
True. Pretty bad.
So with that entire contextual backstory that I just gave you, now it brings us to here, where the former Dragon Age lead writer admits that the Veilguard's art style leaves me cold after bashing gamers for criticizing the character designs. You know, it's funny how we know, you know, I know, they know, that ultimately they do agree with us. You can kind of see it in the way that they act and the way that they try to dance around direct questions regarding decisions made about Veilguard
And this is funny. You know why that is funny? This means when stuff like this happens in any company, not even in just, what was the, who made this again? I forgot, BioWare? When this happens in any company, not just BioWare with Dragon Age Veilguard, you know instantaneously that one thing has happened. Wokeness has taken hold. There's a bunch of people who don't care about it, probably even dislike it with a pretty big amount of fervor, but they can't speak out about it because probably all of HR is literally just a bunch of purple-haired woke lunatics, and the moment you step out of line and say something like that, they're gonna try and get you fired and replaced with someone who thinks like them. So this is hilarious how most likely a very minor part of the company can keep everyone hostage. So people, I'm assuming a lot of people at who are working on this game are kind of like being that, I'm voting Kamala. I'm white dudes for Harris. Well, secretly they're not, but they can't do anything about it. Otherwise, their salary is out the window and they're getting fired. So have fun with that. And this is why you express your opinion. This is why you call shit shit. And don't just let it stir there and let it acquire power, okay? This could have most likely been avoided if the people at Ubisoft, not Ubisoft, but well, also Ubisoft, but the people at BioWare had the balls to actually say, hey, this crazy person who is a convicted PDF file, maybe we should not have them here. Maybe we should get our pitchforks and literally, you know, get them out of here. How about that? But no, they sat because let them let live. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just living their life is a bunch of bullshit and everyone knows it. Everything anyone does will affect you. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm gonna let everyone be around me become just, neurodivergent, let's just call it. And then everything's gonna be fine. No, these things don't happen. Your life is gonna get ruined, you're gonna be swept up in the current, and that's gonna be it. You don't stand for what you believe, you don't stand for anything, and this is the advantage that these people are going to always take over you.
The characters especially, there is nobody on this planet that is looking at this character right now and thinking, oh, yeah, these are the same Kunari as what was in Dragon Age 2. Yeah, for sure. For sure. These are the same exact Kunari. Like, no.
Show a comparison. Please show a comparison. No comparison, but it's ridiculous.
Nobody's thinking that, right? Looking at this character, it's very clear that the decisions made were obviously for the modern audience. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Plays. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says former Dragon Age lead writer David Gator admitted that the Dragon Age the Veilguard's art style leaves me cold after previously bashing gamers who criticized the game's character.
By the way, this woman is a cripple. Just so we're extra inclusive.
Designs. I mean, if you look at this here, this seriously feels like Fortnite, and I'm not even kidding. This literally looks like a Fortnite skin.
Yeah, we have talked about this. It is literally and ironically Fortnite. They're gambling everything to acquire the modern audience that we know is roughly maybe 5k people at most, and half of them are gonna be, checking out permanently probably after a year or two, so not a lot of prospects there. But my god, they're gonna try.
I feel like the person, especially Emmerich on the left, he can just drop into Fortnite at any moment. I really genuinely believe that. Over on Blue Sky, where of course Blue Sky is trying to become the safe haven for leftists, right? Blue Sky is trying to be what Twitter used to be.
It's gonna be hilarious because again, all these platforms launch. What's the Facebook one? Threads or something like that? What was it? It literally launched at the point where Twitter was probably the weakest it ever has been. And they fucking died in literally 2 days. No one gave a shit about them in literal 2 days. And yet they linked your Instagram accounts to it. They linked your everything to it. And no one cared. No one literally cared. And you know why this doesn't work? You know why actually liberal safe spaces don't work? Because they never do. And there's one really good reason for it. These liberal safe spaces are extremely proficient at cannibalizing themselves. Because when they don't have anyone to attack, well, they must have someone, so they will pick out the most privileged persons and attack them amongst their own group. And when they don't have that, it's gonna be everyone's favorite pastime game, the Oppression Olympics. That's right. Who can be more oppressed? And then they're gonna accuse each other of being evil and push each other out of their safe space. And at the end, it's gonna be, well, nothing. Nothing. This is what's gonna happen to Blue Sky or whatever it's called, because it always happens. We have seen it already time and time and time again. These things do not work because liberals left on their own will literally kill each other.
Blue used to be. It's literally called Blue Sky, right? So it's one of those things where people go on X to go do what they got to do, right, for work or post or advertise or whatever. And then after they do that, they go run over to Blue Sky to go, as like their safety net. They go and they're like, oh my God, I got so much backlash on X. Let me go to my safe space known as Blue Sky where everybody's going to agree with me. And it's a fucking echo chamber for leftists. Like that's what they use Blue Sky for, but they don't actually use it seriously. Gator posted on October 14th, the females aren't hot enough yet because they've clued in on the notion this is obviously incel behavior. They've swapped out unattractive for masculine, and
it's completely right. Okay?
Thus transgender because that's a framing which makes them seem political instead of porn brain. But we all know what they mean. Now, the funny thing is he tries to call people like us porn brain, and they do this all the time. Why? Because it's projection, right? At the end
It's not even projection. It's just they are all ugly and decrepit and morbid, and at the best of cases, they look like Asmongold, and that's not good. That's really not. You should go to a doctor. So they can't have, obviously, people who look better than them. Because if you're ugly and you don't want to try to better yourself, you're fat, you don't want exercise or anything like that, or, stop fucking eating cake for every single 1 hour of the day. They need everyone else to be ugly, because if everyone else is as ugly as them and unattractive, hey, congratulations. Because you put the bar so low, now you are technically attractive. Great.
At the end of the day, they're the ones that are porn brain. At the end of the day, they are the ones that sexualize everything, so long as it's their kind of safe horny.
That's also true. If you currently look, for example, at the Rings of Power fanbase, all of them are just literally degenerates. Hell degenerates.
Don't like the sexualization of stuff that they don't deem safe horny. This is why they like Hades 2, because Hades 2 gave them characters that were considered safe horny. Western developers tend to do this, where they give characters that are very masculine, even female.
True. He's talking about the situation. I don't remember what was on the other side, but the same people, there was this situation where in Hades 2, Aphrodite is, yeah, she literally just has hair in front of her every zone, and she doesn't even have a single speck of clothing. But because the makers of Hades 2 are leading politically in the right direction, that was cool, empowering, and good. But the other, I don't remember which was the other game. It wasn't Stellar Blade 2. It wasn't. It was something else. It was some kind of different game that had a hot character, and they fucking went completely berserk on that one because that was unacceptable. Even though she had way more clothes than Aphrodite.
With no boobs, no ass, no hips, and that way all people like this can feel like they're playing as a androgynous teenage boy. That's really what they want to play as at the end of the day. Then it says he added in a subsequent post, and here I am recalling how this has been a thing ever since some dude whined 10 years ago about Cassandra actually being a man, posting over and over and over about her giant jaw and posting phrenology pics to scientifically prove why his PP remained flaccid. Again, this is a typical behavior.
That is very legit, and I support it.
From developers that have their heads in the sand, right? This is why I can never take these people seriously. You guys work for the public. You understand that, right? You guys are making video games for gamers. And it doesn't matter if you hate your client base, which very clearly you do. All of you do. You all hate actual real gamers. You are trying to trade customers for your activism, and then you wonder why your games fail. It is such a old tale at this point, where it's the same reaction every single time. You start off with, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it, and then gamers don't like it, don't buy it, and then you go and you blame the people who didn't like it and didn't buy it for the reason the game failed. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Why are you blaming us for why your game failed? You very clearly said,
well, they need to blame someone, and blaming yourself is a losing strategy.
That it's not meant for us. You said that this is meant for the modern audience, and we are not the modern audience. So why aren't you talking to them? Why aren't you blaming them for your game's failure? Then, however, just a day after Gator admitted that the art style of Veilguard made me cold while he discussed whether or not he would purchase and play the game. Of course he's not. First off, he wrote, a question I receive frequently as of late: will you be playing the new Dragon Age? Asked with a degree of, I don't know, anticipation. Like this is something I do covertly despite the current team, or out of interest in hearing my true and honest thoughts. My answer, it's complicated. You ain't buying this shit. You ain't buying this shit. If your answer is it's complicated, when somebody asks you, are you buying the game, yes or no? And you're like, it's complicated. No, that's you ain't buying this game. Yeah. Just like most of you modern audience fuckers don't buy the game. And this is the exact thing that I'm bringing up with unknown.
To be fair, we actually... Okay, so all of these conversations started off very, very easily. The modern audience does not support the things that they preach that they support. Now we are honestly at the point where we understand one thing. The modern audience actually probably does buy and support the things that they claim to. But the problem here is the modern audience is literally so small it might as well not exist. So that's the thing. Is the modern audience real? Yes. Are they going to support the game? Yes. How many people will that be? Oh no. How many people bought Dustborn? And I don't know. How many people bought Concord? How many people have bought, well, pretty much anything that Sweet Baby Inc. has been involved in? Not many. There is not a lot of modern audiences.
9 Awakening right now. I literally tagged a bunch of woke ass.
I think the biggest modern audience that has ever existed has been in The Acolyte. That it's probably roughly maybe 50k people tweeting or talking about something in a positive light, which is already huge. Or The Rings of Power, which is kind of similar-ish, I guess. It's not a lot of people. It is not a lot of people at all.
As content creators, and I say, hey, are you guys playing this game? How do you like it so far? And the only person who responded after a few days was Mighty Cuck, and he tried to pass it off and say, well, I never heard of this game until you and IGN spoke about it. Are you serious right now? So you consider yourself to be in the mainstream gaming industry. You consider yourself to be a gaming content creator. That's what you talk about. That's what you do every day. And you never heard of Unknown 9 Awakening. Are you fucking serious? Are you kidding me right now?
To be fair, I also only heard about Unknown 9 Awakening when it just released and it was a disaster and it was hilarious.
Now, this is the...
There's a lot of games like that, to be completely honest.
Excuses that they try to give you. So you never heard of it. Okay, well, now you did. Now you did. It's a game for the modern audience. Are you buying it or not? Are you buying it or not? You said that you support strong female characters and that everybody else who doesn't like it basically are chuds. So are you a chud or are you going to buy it and support the game? Yes.
By the way, what does chud even mean? I don't even know, honestly. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. What is a chud? Just some kind of uncultural swine? Some very basic man being that cares more about sports than anything else in his life? Well, what is a chud supposed to be exactly? Because it sounds good, and I like it.
Yes or no? It's a simple fucking question, but then they always try to say it's complicated. He explained, honestly, I don't think I could play and enjoy the game like other fans play and enjoy the game. Not ever. On one hand, it'd be fun to play my first Dragon Age game post-release without seeing all the compromises and cuts and disappointments from years of development. On the other hand, it's my baby. It's moved on. He then admitted that the art style leaves him cold. Do I like everything I see? Not really. The art style leaves me a bit cold, but then the art style has changed with every Dragon Age, and as before, I'm sure I'll warm to it eventually.
Oh, that is such a coping, lying answer. This is not true at all. You just need to Google the different Dragon Age games and you're going to instantaneously understand. Yeah, visually it looks different. But at the same time, even though it clearly is different, you're going to say, no, that style actually hasn't changed that much at all.
The gameplay has changed. The news on choices from previous games gives me a pause. None of this will stop me, however. From there, he said that there were a lot to love, but he only mentions one, which is the locations he once dreamed of having become a reality. That's because there's a lot of I see, which I do love. To go to these places I once dreamed of and finally see them in all their glory, how cool is that? I have every confidence in Patrick and their writers to enthrall the fans and provide a
Yeah, misplaced confidence.
worthy next chapter. Not a single doubt on that front. So if that's the case, why are you not buying the game? Why are you not buying the game? Are you going to buy the game or not? Next, he admitted what would stop him from playing the game. So what would stop me? Ego, probably. If I love it, I know a selfish part of me will ache that
I love these non-answers, by the way. It's like, what are you gauging from this? I don't know. And this is typical modern-day writing, by the way. It's a lot of fucking yapping and not a lot being said at all. Diablo 4 is a great example. Huge amount of yapping and literally nothing really being told, which is crazy. Okay? But the best comment I got about Diablo's storyline is some person completely coped out of his fucking mind saying, oh, the burning church was corrupted by a hellfire, that's why they're evil. Which is stupid. And if that is honestly the real thing that happened, wow, that is probably the stupidest thing ever. But still complete cope. And that's probably the best writing thing that I have ever seen. At least someone tried.
wasn't part of it. And if there are parts I don't love, a part of me will wonder how it might have been. So completely unfair to the team, not to mention ludicrous considering I've been away 8 years now. Listen, bro, the backstory is great. Thank you for your inner monologue, but are you buying the motherfucking game or...
The answer is not, Tim. The answer is obviously not. Anyway, that was Hypnotic. 10 out of 10. Bye.